Hey guys, I'm going to talk a little bit fast and I'm going to be doing a one take because I don't have that much time and the battery on my camera is about to die and I'm kind of tired of editing for the time being, so I apologize in advance. The first thing I need to talk about really quickly is what was on my head for some parts of the video on Friday. That was a pillowcase, not just a pillow. I originally tried to do a pillow and it looked really stupid, so I put a pillowcase on my head, but then realized that I had to lean up against my pillow for the pillowcase to actually stay on my head, which basically meant that because the pillowcase and the pillowcase that was on the pillow are the exact same color, it just looked like I had a pillow on my head, which means I achieved nothing by putting a pillowcase on my head. So basically, yes, I technically had a pillow on my head, but it was just a pillowcase. There you go. James talked a little bit about alcohol, and then Spencer talked a little bit about alcohol, and I'm going to continue that topic of just talking a little bit about alcohol. I am legal drinking age in Ontario. The legal drinking age is 19, and I've been 19 for about a month and a half now, and I think Katie is also legal to drink, but I'm not entirely sure, and I'll talk about that in a second. So I am legal drinking age, but I have only had less than a handful of experiences with alcohol because I have always been of the conviction that alcohol just isn't that fun. I've never been one to go downtown, despite what some of my friends would like to do with me. Yeah. And I've never been interested in drinking that much. I'm not huge into it, and I'm not going to get into that, really, because it's not that interesting to hear me sort of rant about how I'm not interested in alcohol. So I'm going to keep this short, sort of, but not really, and say that I don't drink much alcohol, and I've already talked about alcohol with respect to driving, which is why we originally talked about alcohol in the first place. Going on to the next topic now, because saying alcohol is making my tongue feel funny. Yeah. So I found it really interesting that Spencer brought up the fact that we are one unified group, but we do come from different countries, and in fact, one of us comes from a completely different country. So I found it weirdly interesting, and I don't know why I found it interesting at all, that we are one group even though we come from a different country, and I'm totally taking this on a different tangent, but I'm going to hold off on that tangent for a second so that I remember to say this. What I was talking about with respect to Katie possibly being legal is the fact that laws aren't only different between Canada and America, but also between different parts of Canada. I've had a few conversations now with Katie about how things are completely different in Ontario and in Quebec, despite her being like 2 steps away from Ontario. Basically, the tangent I want to take this on is not talking specifically about the differences between Canada and America. By the way, it is totally spelled with an E, not an A. That's just ridiculous. It just looks silly with an A. Anywho, I found it really interesting because that's what the internet does. I mean, since I had internet friends almost 10 years ago now, which is weird, I've had friends from the US, and I've had friends from overseas, and it's been totally normal for me to feel like a unified group of people just by coming from completely different places. I mean, I've once had a group of friends that ranged from people from Canada and US to places in Europe and Asia, and it was very awesome, but we were one unified group on the internet, and nobody would have thought differently of anybody because they were from a different country, even though they were from different countries, and things were very, very different. And that also applies for Team Vita. We have people that are from Canada, we have people that are from the US, we also have people that are from Europe, and we have people that are in Asia as well, and I don't think there's anybody from Australia, but I could be wrong. Not entirely sure. But we are one unified group, and we act as one unified group, and we're totally similar, but we have our differences because of where we come from, but those sort of get pushed aside when we're on the internet. We focus more on our similarities than we do on our differences because that's really what's important. We sort of ignore the differences because they don't really matter. Yeah. So I just thought I would bring that up. I'm going to go now because my camera is flashing at me, which means that my camera battery is going to die within the next few minutes. I will see Katie tomorrow and on Friday. By the way, guys, please leave challenge suggestions for Katie down below because she has her challenge on Friday and she doesn't have many challenges to choose from. Most of the most recent challenges have been me in a dress, and that doesn't help her at all. So could you leave challenge suggestions down below in your comments? That would be really, really helpful for her. And I will see you guys next week. Katie, I will see you tomorrow and Friday. Kind of feel bad for you, but not really. Bye.